Well, shares of Hims are rising in after-hours trading. The company just reporting third quarter earnings moments ago. Earnings per share coming in at 32 cents on revenue of $401.6 million. Joining us now, Hims and Hers CFO, Yemi Okupe. So, Yemi, talk to me about what was driving the growth that you guys were seeing, and really more to the point, how much of it had to do with compounded GLP-1 drugs?
Thanks for having me. We are executing across our strategy incredibly well. And so at the center of our strategy is really offering personalized care and solutions to consumers across the country. What we are seeing is that is really resonating with more and more consumers. The third quarter is really a reflection of that. We saw revenue up 77% year over year to north of 400 million. Simultaneously, we're also seeing very strong EBITDA margins at north of 13%. Additionally, at the end of the quarter, we also saw 2 million consumers on the platform, of which 1 million were benefiting from a personalized solution. And so really the strong results that we're seeing in the third quarter are a reflection of us executing across the strategy that we've held for the past couple of years and seeing that resonate with more and more consumers.
I'm interested, Yemi, just to go back to Julie's question, these compounded GLP-1s, I'm curious to get more detail on the momentum you're seeing there, and how big do you think that business could be, Yemi? What could it grow into?
Yeah, it's a really great question. What we do see is before we launched GLP-1s, the business was on a phenomenal trajectory. So the core business was growing at 45% year over year. In the second quarter without GLP-1s, we saw north of 300 million of revenue and multiple quarters of both net income and adjusted EBITDA profitability. And so we see weight and specifically the GLP-1 categories as additive to what was already a phenomenal trajectory for the business. With respect to how large the category can get, we see it as having the potential to be quite large. North of 100 million Americans are suffering from obesity, which leads to 500,000 preventable deaths per year. And so our ability to equip our platform with the ability to personalize these medications for users and ultimately enable access to life-changing medications, we're seeing that take off. I think overall we've seen the weight management category as a whole take off with our oral solutions earlier this year. That business was able to hit a $100 million run rate within 7 months. And we're very excited by the results that we're seeing by GLP-1s on the platform as we've launched them now for about a quarter and a half.
So, Yemi, I guess the question is, how much will you continue to capture of that market? Because you guys are selling a compounded version of semaglutide, if I'm not mistaken, semaglutide. So and really the market sort of went to those compounded versions when the prescription versions, the conventional prescription versions were on shortage, right, as defined by the FDA. Now that they're not on shortage, what does that mean for what kind of traffic that you are seeing? Is it still the same sort of pace?
Yeah, really great question. In our view, like we do still see that the medications are on shortage. And what we do see on our platform, and this is the benefit of being a consumer-oriented platform, is that we hear feedback directly from consumers. And what consumers are telling us, resoundingly, is that they are struggling to get access to name brand GLP-1 medications. Over the last 2 months, we've had 70,000 consumers come to our platform stating that they've had trouble accessing name brand GLP-1 solutions. And so our platform and others like ours provides the ability to enable consumers to access these life-changing medications. That said, at some point, we are aware that the shortage will end. From the feedback we're hearing from consumers, we would not expect that imminently in the future. But we do view the categories as being very durable. Many of the principles that we've utilized across our other specialties, we view that as being paramount to being able to scale weight management. And also we view that will make the category durable. And so these principles include a breadth of options for consumers, also personalized medication offerings, and then lastly, leveraging the technology and the operational strength of our platform to bring value to consumers. And so going into each of those a little bit, with respect to breadth of the options, the weight category overall is a category that we see as quite large. When we initially entered the category, we entered with an oral weight loss solution that was centered around addressing the underlying root cause behind an individual's weight gain. And we saw that business scale incredibly fast, driving north of $100 million run rate within 7 months. Additionally, we are very excited to also be bringing the first generic GLP-1 to the platform in 2025. We are actively researching and vetting suppliers right now for liraglutide, and we expect that to come onto the platform in 2025. And then, lastly, I think across all of our specialties, we do see personalization as a very critical component to enabling users to access life-changing care. And so, when the shortage ends, we will ultimately need to pull the commercial dosages off of the platform. But what we do see, again, is that obesity impacts 100 million Americans across the country. And so they are stand to benefit, or there stand millions of consumers to benefit from personalized options that we can bring.
So, Yemi, what percentage of your business is now weight loss related, and and what slice of it is semaglutide specifically?
Yeah, so in the third quarter, we saw subscriber growth, excluding GLP-1s, of 40% year over year. So the overall subscriber growth on the platform remains quite large. The overwhelmingly portion of the business still is, on the core business. We do see weight scaling very quickly. We also see semaglutide scaling on the platform very quickly. Again, just given the breadth of the number of users that are suffering from obesity, we do view the potential as a category as being quite large.